Hello children, happy to see you again. I am a teacher Dakshayani handling biology from Bharathidhasanar Matric Higher Secondary School, Arakkonam. Children, today we are going to see 10th standard biology, chapter 16, plant and animal hormones. In this chapter we are discussing about the various hormones present in the plants and as well as the hormones secreted by the endocrine glands of the animals. Let us go into the session. In the previous session, what are all the things we discussed, children? We discussed about the plant hormones. We discussed about the plant hormones. And we discussed where are these plant hormones produced. Plant hormones are produced by the cells present in the plant. In the human beings, the hormones are produced by the endocrine glands, but in the plants they are produced by the cells, and later on we discussed about the various, what are all the various types of hormones produced in the plant, and in that we discussed about the auxin and the functions of auxin. Auxin is very helpful in the stem elongation, cell elongation. This auxin is mainly responsible, and we have seen some other physiological effects of this auxin. And in this session we are going to see about the remaining hormones, that is cytokinin, abscisic acid and gibberellins, later ethylene. So first we are going to see about the cytokinins. What do you mean by cyto, children? Cyto means cell. Cyto means cell, and kinesis in Greek. Kinesis means division. Kinesis means division. So the hormone which influences or stimulates the cell division is said to be the cytokinins. And the cytokinins was first extracted from the herring fish. It is the fish, children, herring. It is isolated from the herring fish sperm. It is a male gamete. From the sperm they isolated this cytokinin, and later cytokinin was also extracted from the zea-mays plant. What is zea-mays? Can anyone say what is a zea-mays? The scientific name zea-mays belongs to which plant? Yes, maize, corn we say, right? So maize. So later the cytokinin was extracted from the zea-mays plant, and hence it was named as zeatin. It was named as zeatin. And one more question is there, children, the endosperm of the coconut, right? The endosperm of coconut, it's a water, right? After when the coconut ripes, inside the coconut kernels you can see some water, that is the endosperm, and it also contains the cytokinin. So these are all the various things from where we extract the cytokinins. And now let us see some of the important functions of the cytokinin. So the first important function is that, just look at this plant, children. Can you say can you find something from it? Yes, lateral bud growths, right? The bud, if it is present in the apex of the plant, we say it as apical, right? Apical buds. But the buds which is present on the lateral sides or at the axils of the leaf, right, or at the axils of the leaf, we can say it as a axillary buds. So the growth of lateral buds is stimulated by this cytokinins. And apart from this, there are many important functions also, children. It helps in the morphogenesis. Morphogenesis means what? At the time of tissue culture, right? Tissue culture, there is one important process called morphogenesis or organogenesis. Morphogenesis. What do you mean by morpho? Morpho means external, right? For example, if you take a small, in tissue culture what they will do, they will use only the single part of a leaf or something, and from that the entire organs of the plant will be formed, like stem, root, everything will be formed from that small callus. So at that time they will induce this cytokinin. So later from the callus, at the time of tissue culture, the plant organs will be stimulated to grow. So that is another important functions. And one more important function is that it also It is responsible for delaying the senescence. Actually, what is senescence, children? Biological aging. If you see, we human beings also attains a biological aging after 45, right? Likewise, plants, you see, just imagine a leaf. After it get matured, it becomes yellowish. It lost its chlorophyll and later it get detached from the mother plant. So, that is delayed by this cytokinins. And apart from this, there are various other functions and it promotes the cell division. Let us recall one more time. It promotes the cell division, that's hence it got the name cytokinin. And another important function is that lateral bud growth. Later another one is a morphogenesis and it also delays the senescence. So it's an important question, children. They will ask you to write the physiological effects of any hormones, that is either it may be auxin or a cytokinin or gibberellins. It's an important question from this topic. So let us see about the next hormone. So next hormone is a gibberellins, right? Why it was called as gibberellins? A person named Kurosova. He was a person who extracted this gibberellins from the fungus called Gibberella fujicore. Gibberella fujicore. So this is a fungus, right? And this fungus he found in the rice plant. Just you see this, student, this corn is affected by this fungus Gibberella fujicore. It causes foolish seedling. What do you mean by foolish seedling? Sometimes you can see a rice plant, right? If you see any rice plant farm, you can go inside and you can see only some plants grow to a greater height, but they do not produce the original seeds. If you just take a seed and you see, nothing will be there, only the black is there, it will be black in color like this. So this foolish seedling is caused by the gibberellins produced from the Gibberella fujicore. But one important advantage is that it caused the elongation of the stem, right? But it results in the foolish seedling. So the person Kurosova obtained this gibberellins from the fungus Gibberella fujicore, which is responsible for causing foolish seedling disease in rice, and another name of this is Bacchanae disease. Just underline in your book, children, Bacchanae disease, or it is also called as foolish seedling. Sottai, we say in Tamil as sottai, right? So that is a foolish seedling. So now let us see some of the important effects of this gibberellins. So gibberellins function, can you identify anything from this picture, children? Yes, it results in the internodal elongation. Just you see the distance nodes elongation here, it's very less, right? After inducing a gibberellins, after inducing the gibberellins in the plants, what happens? The plant's nodal elongation is there, internodal elongation, and it leads to the elongation of the stem. So this is the first function. The gibberellins is responsible for the stem elongation in plants, and they have applied the gibberellins in a rosette plant. Rosette, it is a type of plant, rosette. Just you see the plant, before administering the gibberellins, it was like this. But after stimulating the plant with gibberellins, there was a internodal elongation. The plant grows to a height, right? So this internodal elongation is due to this gibberellin, and this process in the rosette plants, we call it as bolting. So important 2 mark question, children, bolting. Just underline it, bolting. So before treatment and after treatment, it is the condition of the rosette leaves. So next, some other functions we are going to see. The first one is that it stimulates the male flowers of cucurbita. Cucurbita in the sense cucumber, watermelon, everything comes under the same family. We say vellarikai, right, in Tamil. So it stimulates the male flowers. In cucurbids. cucumber, right. And one more important function is that it is responsible for producing the parthenocarpic tomatoes, right. Actually it's a normal tomato with the seeds. After stimulating this gibberellin, the seeds was absent. So this has a capacity to induce the parthenocarpy in the tomato. Just look at this, children, there is no seeds in this tomato. So another important function is that it is responsible for producing parthenocarpic tomatoes. So these are all the important functions of gibberellins. And now we are going to see the another hormone. First we discussed about auxin, cytokinin, next about the gibberellins, and now we are going to see about the abscisic acid. Abscisic acid can be written in short as ABA. ABA. They may ask, write the physiological effects of ABA. It refers to abscisic acid. And this abscisic acid is generally called as the stress hormone. Stress hormone. Why it is called as a stress hormone? For example, when the plant is growing, right, there will be many stress from the environment, heavy temperature, more raining, like that, some stresses from the environment. This can be tolerated by this presence of this abscisic acid. So first important function we can see, that is it promotes senescence. It promotes senescence. I told you senescence means biological aging. First you see, children, this leaf is very good, right? This leaf is green in color and it is attached to the parent plant and it is healthy. So when it matures, after aging, what happens? The loss of chlorophyll, right? Ethylene is produced which results in ripening, and loss of chlorophyll is there, and finally what is formed? The abscission zone is formed. Abscission means if the leaf is attached like this, a zone of abscission will be formed here, so that the nutrients from the plant is stopped by entering into the aged plant. So that abscission zone is formed by this abscisic acid, and later on what happens? When the nutrient stops moving to the leaves, automatically the leaves become yellowish and it withers from the parent plant. So this senescence is induced by this abscisic acid. And one more important function is that it is responsible for stomatal closure. For example, here normally it's an open stomata, right? But when abscisic acid is present, it leads to stomatal closure. And one more important function is that, children, while we discussed before, auxin, cytokinin and gibberellins will promote the growth, whereas the remaining two enzymes, the hormones, that is abscisic acid and ethylene, will inhibit the growth, right? Inhibit means what? Stops the growth. So this abscisic acid, it breaks the dormancy of the seeds and it inhibits the growth of the plant and it leads to the aging of the plant. So these are all the some other effects of this abscisic acid. And some other important functions, that is, it breaks dormancy. Dormancy means what, children? Dormancy means some seeds remain inactive. That is said to be the dormancy. So it breaks the dormancy, and it is also responsible for germination, and it is a stress tolerance hormone. It prevents plants from stress. So it is also called as a stress hormone. And stomatal aperture, the shape of the stomata will be changed by administering this abscisic acid. So these are all the some other important effects of abscisic acid. And the last hormone, plant hormone, is the ethylene. Ethylene, when compared to other hormones, ethylene is a gaseous hormone. Others all are obtained in the liquid form. But this ethylene is a gaseous hormone. It's important one more question also, children. Gaseous hormone. And there are many functions of this ethylene. Let us discuss some of it. First one is that it stimulates the release of dormancy, right? That is the seeds remain. It inhibits the germination. I told you some first three hormones are responsible for growth. Last two hormones are responsible for inhibiting the growth. So it stimulates the dormancy, and also it is responsible for stimulating the root and shoot development also. To some extent it is also responsible, and it stimulates the leaf and fruit abscission. You know that when the fruit is ripe, what happens? It fell down from the tree, right? Likewise, when the leaves also is yellow, it becomes when it matures, it becomes yellowish and withers from the plant. So that is also a function of this ethylene, and it stimulates the flower induction. Flower induction means formation of flowers, induce the flowers, as well as it is responsible for femaleness in the flowers. Female character will be stimulated more, and it stimulates the flower and leaf senescence. Yes, sometimes some plants when it matures, automatically the flowers fell down, right, and the continuation of the species is arrested for some time. That is also due to this ethylene, and stimulates the fruit ripening. It's an important 1 mark question, children. It's a fruit ripening. For example, if you get I will say one example also, it's given in your book also. Get some bananas, somewhat unripe bananas, and you keep it in a cover, right, and you place if you keep it, separate that into two, right. If you buy 10 unripe bananas and split into 5 you keep separately, and with the remaining 5 you keep just any ripened fruit, either it may be a tomato or it may be a ripened banana also. If you keep, you can see when compared to the another first 5 bananas, the last remaining 5 bananas which we place along with the ripened fruits will ripe very fast, because from the ripened fruits what is released? Gaseous ethylene is released, and this ethylene stimulates the other fruits to ripen very fast. So this is one important functions of this ethylene. So ripening of the fruits is due to the ethylene. After administering the ethylene, the unripe fruits gets ripened very fast. So let us recap what are all the things we studied, children. In this session we have discussed about the 4 hormones. First we discussed about the cytokinin, and next we discussed about the gibberellins, and next we discussed about the abscisic acid and its physiological effects, and later we discussed about the gaseous hormone, that is ethylene, and its physiological effects. With this the plant hormones comes to an end. In the next class we shall see about the various hormones produced in animals, especially in human beings. This is the assessment given related to this topic, children. Just go through it. With this session comes to an end, children. In the description we have attached the study material, assessment and question bank for this lesson. Go through it and make sure how far you understood the topic. Thank you, children.